Yeah, I'm thrilled to be here in Victoria today, representing the Downie Wenjack Fund. When the Victoria Royals, when Cam, Hope and the team reached out to us and said they wanted to not only put up a rink board sign, but have a dedicated night, do a fundraiser, we were just blown away at the Downie Wenjack Fund. And you know, I think with Gord, the association with hockey is just so obvious. This is a rink that Gord, started many tours in, started other tours always in Victoria, so it feels really good to be here. The Downie Wenjack Fund was basically started a year ago, really out of the Secret Path project, Gord's album, the graphic novel, and the animated film. Gord and I wanted to start the fund along with the Wenjack family to keep this conversation going, to try to bring Indigenous and non-Indigenous people together, and just to learn more about each other. I think there's a huge opportunity in the country right now for non-Indigenous Canadians to become more aware of Indigenous lives, to try to move the needle, and I think create a more inclusive country. The Downie Wenjack Fund wants to play a part of that. We want to move the needle. We want to create a country that sees itself in a different way. So basically, the story of Secret Path is the story of Chanie Wenjack, a 12-year-old boy who ran away from his residential school in 1966. It's a simple story. It's a boy trying to get home. And from that story opens up to so many more stories. Residential school, the children that never made it home, the survivors who made it home but had their lives broken by this terrible system that ran in this country for 100 years, affected 150,000 Indigenous children. Chanie Wenjack, to me, is a little boy who's never made it home. And I think that if we do our job right, we can help other people make it home, other Indigenous adults, children, make it home to a better life. And I think it's the role of all Canadians to get involved. Reconciliation is a hard thing to wrap your head around. I think it starts with understanding more. Awareness is key, education, and then action. And we're hoping at the fund with our Reconciliation grants that we can encourage Canadians, Indigenous and non-Indigenous, to work together and come up with initiatives that improve Indigenous lives. So, I mean, it's a long way. Gord said it would take 100 years. He's probably right. But it'll only take 100 years if we get started. You know, I think Gord really got the conversation moving along. When he stood on the stage in Kingston on August 20th and told the country, 15 million people watching, that we need to do something about these lives that we've been trained to ignore, with the Prime Minister sitting in attendance. I think he made people sort of sit up a little bit. I know for Indigenous leadership, they really felt like, wow, this is a guy on tour, giving it everything he's got, and the one message that he wants to get across is, we need to care more. We need to care more. It's my hope that we can, with the Downie Wenjack Fund, we can keep that going. We can keep that conversation going. We can keep introducing people to this important part of our culture that we have been trained to ignore.
Is that why it's important that this message is getting into sports fans?
Yeah, I mean, with Gord, as I said, there was 15 million people watching that last show. Gord reaches music fans, he reaches sports fans. He kind of worked on a really high level, I think, and affected people's lives with his music. I mean, the difference, I think, for Gord and a lot of other people who are, getting the message across is Gord was already a part of people's lives. So when he said, this is what I care about, there was a lot of people that wanted to, know more about this issue that Gord cared so much about. I think a lot of them have come to realize that this is something that they need to care about as well. So, it's going to take a long time. I'm sure there are doubters, but we're here to say, when you want to know more, we want to support it. The Secret Path, we've got in 100,000 classrooms right now. We've got teachers using the book, the graphic novel, the book, the album, the animated film. We've got that in classrooms across the country. We want to continue to support these teachers. Our teachers are our future. Our children are learning stuff in class that none of us, my age group, learned. It's just time. It's just time we knew more about our country. This country, people have been living here for 12 to 15,000 years. it's really an opportunity, I think, to move this country forward by learning more about each other. And for non-Indigenous people like me, I think the opportunity is exciting, and I welcome all people to walk this path with us.
So you said it would be, like Gord said, that it'd be 100 years. Terry Fox in 1980 had a goal of $1 million, and of course, it's in the hundreds of millions.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what are your longer-term goals and vision for this project?
Well, when I think of goals, I don't think of money raised for sure. I think of, but there are lofty goals. I think there's an opportunity for Canadians to, we've just come through this 150-year anniversary, this celebration. I think for a lot of people, at different points, it rang a bit hollow. I think the opportunity is much greater than that. I think there's an opportunity for our national identity to shift. I think there's an opportunity for Canadians to recognize that we are not a young country. We're based on a foundation that goes back thousands of years. We need to tap into it more. We need to incorporate it into our way of thinking. That's my feeling. And I think in time, you said it'll take 100 years. Gord said it would take 100 years. It may, but I think the changes that we're going to see in our culture and our society have already begun, and I hope to see them continue. Because in the end, I think we end up with a better, definitely a more inclusive country, and I think just a more interesting country as well.
And across Canada, like national support, so obviously the Royals are supporting the fund,
Mm-hmm.
and Gord and the Tragically Hip had a great following here in
Mm-hmm.
Victoria, but across Canada as well.
Mm-hmm.
So are you getting more support coming from across the country?
This initiative that the Victoria Royals have come up with is absolutely amazing, and we hope that other teams and other communities across the country will pick up the baton, because I think we all love watching a good game of hockey. We all love going out to see a great band, but it's also good to maybe think a little bit when you're out having enjoying the entertainment. Just sort of think a little bit about the country and how we can maybe make it better. So what Cam Hope and the Victoria Royals have done, I think, is fantastic. This is going to be an association with the Downie Wenjack Fund for a long time.
I just want to ask you, what's it
sure.
been like personally for you? It's been less than a month since Gord passed. And, what's it like been? The outreach from everybody coming to you since your family.
Well, the outpouring of emotion since Gord's death has been it's been overwhelming, and for me and for my family, we have a great deal of love and gratitude for the thousands and millions of people who have been moved by Gord. It's kind of hard to believe in a way, but it's all hard to believe. Gord's 30-year run, the songs that he wrote, the lives that he touched, it is almost hard to believe. My only hope is that deep emotion, that we can direct that a little bit towards something that Gord really cared about. And that's the reason that I'm, out talking to people. My brother Patrick, my sister Charlene and Paula. That's the reason we're trying to keep this conversation going, because it's great that people cared so much. But we'd like people to care about what Gord cared about, and that's improving Indigenous lives. But I mean, to the country, it's I don't have words. I don't have words to express my gratitude.